Hi, I'm Jen. I've worked in analytics for 15 years in a variety of different positions. Now I run my own consulting company in addition to teaching people about analytics skills and careers. Today I'm sharing about how I personally learned data analytics. I've always had a strong interest in math and been naturally good at it. Or maybe I've always been interested in it because I'm naturally good at it. So it made sense when it came time for college that I would stick with math. I have a bachelor's degree in math with a minor in economics. This, of course, gave me a really strong statistical foundation, mathematical foundation to start out with in my career. Throughout college, I wasn't quite sure what I actually wanted to do with my degree. I had a much better list of the things I knew I didn't want to do. I knew I didn't want to teach in a school setting. I knew that I didn't really want to go into accounting. I knew whatever I did, though, I wanted to have a practical impact with it. I enjoy researching things, but I didn't really want to just research. I wanted to be able to research, practice, and implement. At the time I graduated, data analytics wasn't popular at all. I hadn't even heard of the position when I graduated, so when I did hear about it, I was pleasantly surprised to find out it seemed to pull in all of the elements that I really wanted ultimately to have in a job. And I thought of it as something that maybe I would achieve someday. Instead, I found myself in a role pretty soon after graduating college. I had a great statistical and other mathematical foundation from college, but unfortunately I hadn't had a chance to really learn any tools or programming languages when I was in college. Partly I attribute this to the program that I went through, but also the timing of when it was and the popularity of analytics and data science not having taken off yet. And also I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it never even occurred to me that that's something that I'd want to study separately on my own. I had used MATLAB and Stata or Stata, depending on how you like to pronounce it, but I wouldn't have considered myself really an expert in either one. They were tools that I could work my way through, I could solve some basic problems, but I wasn't exactly an advanced user. When I got into my first role, I started learning SAS, programming language, and tools. This was the language and the tools that were being used at the company I was working at. I had a lot of on-the-job learning, and I was fortunate to be entering the role at a time where everybody was still kind of figuring things out and what data analytics meant, how to really leverage the power of this data. I would find problems that I needed to solve, and then I would go about solving them in a variety of ways, which really helped me build my skills. I would then go about solving these problems through trial and error, through Googling, connecting with a network that I was building over time of other users, both within the company but also outside of the company, just other general users of the software, and also referencing books that I had collected over time that reference the SAS programming language. This really helped me learn practical skills as the priority because I was focusing on solving actual business problems and figuring out the mechanics of doing so along the way. In addition to this ad hoc style of learning, I also took courses from SAS to learn more about the language outside of just the skills that I needed to solve a particular problem, and I went to different conferences and participated in different user groups. This again helped me both grow my network and learn more about the software, build my technical skills. I found myself doing a similar thing with Excel and VBA. I didn't take any classes, but the general skills that I had entered my first job with, I was able to build on as I found different problems to address and work through solving the different challenges. During that time, I was also taking any opportunity I had to build additional skills. If there was a course being offered at work in anything related to analytics, data, even engineering, which was a large part of the types of data I was working with at the time, I'd take them. If the company offered to sponsor different outside trainings or conferences, etc., I'd take them. I think this not only helped grow my skills, but also helped a lot with my networking efforts within the organization and within the industry in general. I also was able to learn a few specialty forecasting tools and meet with other analysts globally in all different industries to find out how other people were using information, what tools they were using, and how they were building up their skills, what areas they saw as potential. As I found a little bit of spare time here and there, I'd also reach out to other roles within the organization. I mentioned engineering, but also purchasing, manufacturing, other teams that I thought could benefit from analytics that I knew probably weren't using analytics and leveraging the data as much as they could. And I looked for opportunities to use those to solve practical problems. That's generally what leads to the adoption of data analytics, business analytics, data science within organizations, is there's somebody that sees the potential of it, and then they look for opportunities to demonstrate that potential. It's not to replace anyone. Sure, companies want efficiency, they want to find smarter ways, cheaper ways of doing things, but ultimately, this data should help reinforce the knowledge that already exists. It should confirm that things are working or confirm that things aren't working and indicate how we can change to make things better, to make the business, the organization better. In addition to focusing on the technical skills that I had and building those further, I also took some trainings and volunteered for opportunities to work with organizational or operational development. This really helped with building my skills as an analyst, both as a data analyst and a business analyst, because I was able to look more at how I influenced the organization, how I was able to enact change within an organization, help development go further. I think this is a key set of soft skills that any analyst should at some point in their career take time to get into, because it really does help you make more of a difference with getting that data to be used, getting that analysis to be used more heavily when you know more about the soft skills to making things change, making people want to change, and not just making people want to change, but getting people involved, getting people to see the upside, to give them a what's in it for them of the work that you're doing. I mentioned I'd go to conferences and participate in user groups. I do this both as a participant, but also as a presenter. It was an opportunity to share what I was doing and get feedback from others that weren't as nitty-gritty in the details of my particular aspect. And again, it helped me grow my network, which I think is a very valuable skill to have. It's a very valuable tool to have, no matter what type of role that you're in. This also helped me learn more about presentation skills, sharing information, conveying things in a really concise way that still provides as much detail as people need. Over time, I've continued to add in different skills. I've learned Power BI and Tableau in the past. I've added in a variety of other tools. I've added in other programming languages. I started learning Python when I was considering consulting full-time, because while SaaS is an amazing software, it's also expensive. And I knew that it probably wasn't going to always be the right solution from a cost perspective for the clients I would end up working with or for myself, because the prices I would have to charge would be a lot higher if I was using SaaS versus an open source solution. I have a lot of skills, I know a lot of tools, but I'm in no way done learning. I try to set aside time every month to really dedicate just to developing skills or honing skills that I want to improve, that I don't get a chance to work with regularly. I think this is one of the best ways to make sure that you're continuously developing. If you think of it as something that you do once a year, or you'll only work on developing a new skill when you need it because you're applying for a new job, it's usually a little late, and you usually don't get as much time in as you really need to really build an additional skill set. This development over the past few years has looked like taking more training and working more with machine learning. It's been using a data camp subscription to build my knowledge of other programming languages that I'm not as familiar with. It's involved learning other specialized skills that maybe not everyone needs, but can be an asset for certain niche roles. Tools like CRMs or customer relationship management software, tools like Salesforce fall under this, that are increasingly popular. They've already been popular for a while, but really add an additional skill that for what I'm personally doing gives me another knowledge area that's helpful to clients that I'm working with. That's how I learned analytics. That's how I continue to build my skills in analytics and data science. If you're new to analytics and trying to figure out what kind of career path might be right for you, check out my free career quiz that I've linked below. Answer a few questions and it'll suggest a specific area of analytics that may be a really good fit for you. And if you want more one-on-one help, reach out for individualized coaching with me and we can talk more about how your particular career development path might look, what skills you can work on, and different resources for building them. I'll link to those both down in the description of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I see you next week.